Hi, I'm Christian Toto from HollywoodInToto.com, and today we've got America's favorite fake news reporter, Paula Priesse. Paula, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Christian. But before we get started, I need to set something straight.
Sure.
That title of fake news reporter was created by a bunch of right-wing wackos who like to torment me. I pride myself on being a real news journalist.
Well, my apologies. So why are you a real news journalist?
I'm a real news journalist because my sources are the same as trusted media outlets, such as CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, and The New York Times.
Well, there's been some studies recently that say that over 90% of coverage of President Trump has been negative. What do you think about that? Is that just more fake news?
Oh, fake news, Christian. They studied my reports and found that I was only 85% negative and 20% neutral.
And you feel that's being objective?
Oh, of course I do, Christian. And so do all of my colleagues and friends. I mean, we are talking about Donald Trump.
So I take it you don't believe in Trump derangement syndrome?
Oh, of course not. I mean, sure, I was in shock after the election, but who wasn't? I mean, the media kept insisting that Hillary was gonna win. But I am proud to say that thanks to prescription medication and a year and a half of intense therapy, I have come to terms with the fact that Hillary's never going to be president. But it doesn't really matter anyway because Trump is going to be impeached.
Wait, you believe that?
Oh, it's not important what I believe. It's what a lot of Democrats running for office believe.
Well, you do realize for the president to be gone, first the Democrats have to win back the House. Then they have to vote to issue articles of impeachment. Next, after a Senate trial, have 2/3 of the senators vote for his removal.
Hey, you promised no civics questions.
So Paula, what do you think about Spygate?
First of all, it's not Spygate. It's Informantgate. And it's not a gate. The DOJ was just protecting Trump from the Russians.
So Hillary didn't need the same protection?
Duh. The Clintons were never in bed with the Ruskies like Trump was, or is.
Reset button, uranium sales, fake dossier, Clinton Foundation, $500,000 speeches?
Hey, what is this? When do we get to talk about Stormy Daniels?
You think that's important?
Hello? It's been on CNN and MSNBC like 24/7. Your research department needs to get up to speed.
Well, we'll make a note of that. Well, Paula, what are you covering these days?
I am so glad you asked. I just got a lead from one of my unnamed sources that another unnamed source told him that Trump once sent Putin a birthday card.
Shocking.
Isn't it? This will definitely be my lead story tonight. Take that, CNN.
So Paula, let's play a game.
Cool. I like games.
All right, I'm going to mention a name and you tell me the first word that pops into your mind.
Go.
Robert Mueller.
Honorable.
James Comey.
Hero.
James Clapper.
Patriot.
John Brennan.
Ditto. Hey, this is fun.
Hillary Clinton.
Feminist. No, wait. Victim.
Just one more. Barack Obama.
Did I pass?
Well, this wasn't a test, but it was revealing.
You know, that's what my therapist says.
Now, here's something I don't understand. Aren't progressives always trying to fight the man? And isn't Clapper and Comey and Brennan, aren't they the man?
I can understand your confusion. You see, these men who were under President Obama could never be the man because he was so cool. So they were like his disciples.
And Obama's the Messiah, right?
I didn't say that. Excuse me. Guys, where's my iced latte macchiato? Okay then. Please get me a double cafe latte pronto! Sorry about that.
Let's change the topic to illegal immigration.
You mean immigration?
Right, illegal immigration. Do you think we should build a wall?
No. No walls. Walls are never needed. Except around celebrity homes and the Vatican.
Okay, what's your take on President Trump calling the members of MS-13 gang animals?
I thought it was horrible. And so did a lot of my colleagues and Democrats like Nancy Pelosi. And these poor young men are just a bit confused. You know what they need? A nice big hug.
And you'd give them one?
Well, I probably wouldn't, but I would tell my staff to hug as many of them as possible. Being on camera, I just don't want to mess up my clothes.
And how do you feel about sanctuary cities?
I don't believe the policy is broad enough. I think we should have a sanctuary planet. One giant safe space for all the people on Earth.
I must say, Paul, this is the most unbelievable interview I've ever done.
Well, thank you.
Surely you and your media friends must know that the economy is doing quite well under President Trump.
Like what?
Well, talk about the low unemployment rates, the tax cuts, the historically low unemployment rates for minorities.
I hadn't heard about any of that.
I know, no one has.
Actually, I take that back. I did hear about Nancy Pelosi calling the tax cuts crumbs. But to be honest, this is all a bunch of icky math stuff. All I know is that gas prices are rising and it's Trump's fault. I heard that yesterday on NPR. Or maybe it was MSNBC.
I thought environmentalists like higher gas prices to cut down on those emissions.
Well, yeah. Or, no. Are you sure you don't want to talk about Stormy Daniels? I'm an expert on that.
I'm sorry, this is a stormy-free zone. As someone who represents the media, I'm curious, how do you select your stories?
Oh, that's easy, Christian. Whatever I feel will be most important to my fans. Or viewers.
Like what's happening in North Korea?
I guess.
Well, call me crazy, but I would think preventing a thermonuclear war would be of interest to your audience.
Like Trump is gonna do that. After all, it's not like he won the Nobel Peace Prize his first year like Barack Obama did.
No, he didn't. So Paula, being the professional you are, how exactly did Barack Obama win the Nobel Peace Prize again?
Why did he win it?
Right.
I think it had something to do with lowering the oceans. Oh heck, I don't remember, but I know it was something awesome.
I gather you didn't like it when President Trump called Kim Jong-un Little Rocket Man.
No, I didn't. I don't think it's wise to mock another leader's manhood. Besides, if you think about it, doesn't Little Rocket Man kind of sound like some sort of Freudian insult?
So how do you feel about President Trump pulling out of Obama's Iranian nuke deal?
I know. Can you believe he did that? I mean, all the money that President Obama sent over there on pallets might as well have just been flushed down the toilet. And Republicans accuse Democrats of wasting money.
Now, besides those other media outlets, where do you follow the current events?
Let's see. Well, naturally there's Colbert and Kimmel, Samantha Bee, oh, and of course SNL. You know, the usual places. And besides, they're all so darn funny.
You must be easily amused.
What?
I said this must keep you on top of the news.
It does. Thank you.
I think my viewers would like to know how you got started being a journalist.
Well, I know it's kind of hard to believe, but I had a pretty hard time finding a job with my gender studies degree, so I answered this ad and became a gopher at a local public access station. And then shortly after that, I got to host my own show called Politics.
Catchy name.
Thanks. On my show Politics, I tackled hard-hitting issues like how cow flatulence causes climate change.
So you're a big believer in man-made climate change?
Yes, I'm also a big believer in gravity and Starbucks coffee. It's the lifeblood of every reporter. But I would stay away from their bathrooms. With their new policy inviting in non-customers, their bathrooms are a bit dicey.
I wanted to talk a little bit about education today, specifically what's going on in colleges and universities.
Sure.
You said you got your degree in gender studies?
With a minor in puppet arts.
You could minor in puppet arts?
Oh, sure. I was going to minor in bagpiping, but I thought that might be a little impractical.
A lot of college students these days are complaining about political correctness. They're saying it's stifling free speech. What do you think?
What do you mean?
Well, things like conservative speakers being canceled, the need for free speech zones, and The recent study that showed nearly 40% of colleges don't have a single Republican on their faculty.
You mean it's college Republicans who are complaining? Wow, I didn't even know any existed.
Yeah, there were rumors there were a few out there.
Well, I guess that's okay, as long as they don't offend anyone. Free speech is great, but it has limits.
Guess that explains why Roseanne got canceled and Joy Reid and Samantha Bee still have their jobs.
Exactly. I personally had a wonderful college experience, and I am proud to say that I only have $70,000 left on my student loan.
Good for you. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you're a big fan of gun control. How do you feel about gun-free zones in schools?
Not just schools, but all of America.
So why do you think cities like Chicago, which have strict gun control laws, have such a high number of gun-related homicides?
Again, not enough hugs. We all just need to hug more. My saying is hugs, not thugs. Oh my God, is that Fox News I hear in the background?
Yeah.
I'm going to kill my agent.
So Paula, another hot topic of late is the Me Too movement.
I know. I did a video on the do's and don'ts in the workplace because it's getting pretty complicated. And sometimes it's pretty embarrassing without a scorecard. For instance, earlier this year, I left a voicemail for former New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, thanking him for his Me Too support.
Well, we all make mistakes.
So get this, Christian. The very next day I went to work, I had 24 red roses on my desk with a note that read, "Guess who?" I still don't know who it is, but the timing is a bit weird.
Now, you don't have to answer this question, but as someone in the media, have you ever been put in an uncomfortable position?
Oh, it's okay, I'm happy to. And knock on wood, the answer is no. But I've been lucky because I've never worked for NBC. I mean, it's funny since I always dreamt to be the co-host on the Today Show, and now there's even accusations against Tom Brokaw. Unfortunately, I've also never worked for PBS or NPR, who both have their own problems, or CBS. I forgot about Charlie Rose. Wow. I am in an industry filled with perverts.
So Paula, what other things do you do besides your media work?
Well, I'm a spokesperson for this wonderful company that makes vegan pet food. My own dog has been eating it for years.
Your dog is a vegetarian?
Vegan. And her name is Chomsky. She's a little emaciated, but you know what they say. You can never be too thin or too rich. And besides, she has the lowest cholesterol of any dog in America.
That's amazing.
There is one problem though, my crazy apartment neighbor. Oh, she is deaf as a doornail, and she just has this polka music blaring all the time while she makes these German sausages, and the stench just seeps through my wall, and it drives my dog absolutely bonkers. You know, I have had to paint the same wall 4 times because of her scratching.
That's gotta be annoying.
You're telling me. And not only that, Christian, but she's got that awful Rush Limbaugh blaring at volume 11. The old bat is driving me insane.
So tell me about your family.
Well, there's not much to tell. My father plays the steel drum in a reggae band. My mom makes dream catchers for folks in nursing homes. My older sister teaches self-esteem in elementary schools. And my younger brother is the black sheep of the family.
Why the black sheep?
Well, for one thing, he's an economics major in college, and he's always reading radical books that my mom used to find hidden under his mattress.
What books?
I can't remember. I think one of them was called The Serfdom Highway or something like that.
The Road to Serfdom by Friedrich Hayek?
That's it. Needless to say, my parents were horrified. I swear he's adopted.
Well, at least it wasn't porn.
If only. Porn would make a lot more sense. And it gets worse. His girlfriend just posted a photo on Instagram wearing a MAGA hat. Can you believe it? A freaking MAGA hat.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know. I mean, what if my boss or coworkers ever saw this? I would be banned from working in the media forever.
Really?
really. Darn.
Anything wrong?
Stormy's lawyer just canceled our interview. God, I can't believe this. Yeah, I must be the only journalist in America that he's ever canceled.
Well, that's a tough break. Well, I think we're about out of time. Thank you so much for talking to us and letting us get to know the mind of a political reporter in today's society.
Journalist, Christian. Political journalist.
My apologies. I keep forgetting.
No biggie. Thank you, Christian, for having me. You know, for a right-wing wacko, you're okay.
I'm honored. Well, folks, until next time, this is Christian Toto from HollywoodInToto.com.